Hey everybody, welcome back to Why Not RV. On this week's episode, we're gonna go ahead and replace our MaxxAir roof vent fan. Let's get to it. Remember, if you want to learn more and make less mistakes while RVing, be sure to hit that subscribe button, drop a like and a comment down below. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. First things first, let me tell you why I am replacing the MaxxAir vent fan. Now, there's actually nothing wrong with one of the MaxxAir vent fans here in the bathroom area. One of them works fine. They're just kind of loud. The other one is starting to go out where the fan is sometimes working, sometimes isn't. I'm sure I could probably just clean it up and it would get working again, but that's not what I want to do. I wanted to get an upgrade. I wanted to change them from the black version to the white version. I wanted a little bit quieter, you know, all that type of stuff. So that's why I'm choosing to do a little bit of an upgrade here. When it comes to my front MaxxAir vent fan, same type of thing. Nothing wrong with it. It works perfectly fine. There's just some way nicer ones on the market nowadays that are way quieter, can move a lot more airflow than these older ones. And again, this one is black with a black top. I'm changing to one with a white top, so it'll be a little bit lighter inside the RV. So first things first, we know that we are going to be messing with roof penetrations. So you need to make sure you have all the right stuff ahead of time, such as your Dicor lap sealant, tape if you need it. You know, just depending on your RV and your rig, make sure you have the proper stuff to be resealing all this stuff whenever we're done with it. Okay, it's more than just the fan by itself. Of course, the first thing we need to do is go ahead and remove the old ones. And that's gonna be a little bit different process depending on your fan, but they're gonna be relatively all very, very, very similar. So let's just go get to it. So I'm starting inside and I'm gonna go ahead and start by just removing all of these screws around here for all this trim stuff and just start to pull all this stuff down and get it up all out of the way. Get to my electrical connection more than likely and make that disconnect. And then we'll go up on the roof and remove everything from the top side. So now that I got this whole assembly coming down, I got my wires coming in right here. This black and white wire are what feed the unit. So that black wire, I'm just gonna go ahead and pull off from there. And this white wire is gonna just be snipped right there at the base of that bus connector. Now, of course, these wires are still hot. If you want to remove power from them, you'd have to either turn off your battery, disconnect, make sure you have no 12-volt power, or remove the fuse that feeds your fan. For me, I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna be safe, so I'm not gonna do that, but just so you know, that's what you need to do. Now, because I'm not reusing this fan or anything like that, I just went ahead and snipped those wires there, which I believe are for the rain sensor. I also just disconnected that white wire there that comes from above. I'm sure that probably feeds the motor for the lid, and then also disconnected this red wire as well, which that well, actually both those wires, those lead up into the motor for the fan itself. But anyway, so I just disconnected those, snipped that to get this whole piece down. Okay, so we are pretty much done on the inside. I went ahead and got my black and white wires out through the little side hole here of the casing, the upper side of the casing. So once I got that out, everything else here is now, you know, disconnected, right? This is the only stuff that's from the RV, and it's actually originally a blue and white wire that came in on this side over here, and just kind of goes around, and then they changed it over there to the black and white wire. But so now we're gonna go up on the roof and start to remove everything from up there. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and remove this fan cover, which is just these little clips, and then we'll get down to the fan. Okay, so now with those removed, I was able to just go ahead and lift the top off. So now we're gonna go ahead and start to unscrew this thing. I'm gonna first start by removing these tabs and then probably starting to dig away at this super old silicone to get to the actual screws that are screwing this down. So all I'm doing right now is using my knife that I have here to very carefully scrape away the old Dicor sealant to expose the screws. Okay, so that's all I'm doing is I'm just working my way around, finding all the screws and removing all these screws. Once I get that done, I'll go ahead and cut a little seal here and lift this whole thing out. So now that I have all of the screws removed from the perimeter, I got my knife in here, and now I'm going to just very carefully start to cut away this seal all the way around so that then I can remove it and then get the roof cleaned up. All right, now I got that all cut out, I can just go ahead and take this whole thing out. And now I've got this foam gasket. So now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is clean up this whole old Dicor situation get this as clean as I possibly can so that I can put the new one on with a nice clean surface area. So this is the fan that I chose to get. It's called the MaxxFan Deluxe. The model is the 7000K, and I got the one with the white lid. Let's go ahead and open up this box and see what all it comes with, trim kit, etc. Let's go ahead and check it out. Okay, so it has a nice new trim piece. We got the instructions here, our cables, or excuse me, not instructions, but manual controls, the remote, the fan. It's all just one big unit right now. It all is just going to come right apart and whatnot. But and then it also has the remote, instructions, and hardware. All right, so we got the old thing all cleaned up. I got the new flange just kind of sitting here in place, and the new fan up here. I also have my Dicor lap sealant. Now, basically what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to apply my lap sealant along the base of the flange underneath of it, so that when I suck it down, it's going to suck all that through and create a nice seal. After I do that, I'm going to screw this thing down through the metal, and then I'm going to cover the entire thing with the lap sealant just like the old one was. So we're gonna go ahead and get to it. So I've taken my Sharpie and drawn out the outline of the flange so that now I can start to take my lap sealant and get this going all the way around. Now what I'm doing is I've started with the two outer edges because I have an Airstream and it's a pretty curved roof. And then I'm doing the four corners and I did them opposite. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4. And now this all has pretty decent equal pressure all the way around. And I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of the screws in. Now, keep in mind, I'm also paying attention to make sure I have Dicor in my screw holes. So this one didn't have any from where I laid Dicor out underneath of it. So I added some before I put the screw in so that that screw is sucking that Dicor down in through the roof to really create a good seal. So now once I set my screws down on here, I did not tighten these down with my impact gun because I would easily probably break these off or just start stripping the metal. So I just got them down to where it started to suck them down a little bit. And then I went ahead and took a hand screwdriver and I got them down the rest of the way. And each one I was just very careful to not start to strip the metal or anything like that because there's so many of these. I think there's 16 around the whole thing. So they don't really need to be that tight. Plus the lap sealant, once you have that all the way around the edges, that's gonna create its own seal and it's not gonna go anywhere. So now with all these done, I'm gonna go ahead and do basically what I have done here already is I'm gonna take Dicor and I'm gonna cover each screw. At the same time, I'm going to go ahead and put Dicor all the way around the entire seal lip, the lip there. Okay, so now that that was done and siliconed on, basically this whole assembly goes down and on, and there's 2 screws on both sides that line up with these little clips. It does take some pressure because of the curved roof, so I just had to push down. So we're gonna go inside and do some wiring. So the wires from the new fan have little leads on the end. A positive is the black, negative is the white. So I went ahead and crimped on the a female end here on the white negative. And then what I'm gonna do is on my main negative, I'm gonna crimp a male end. So I got the connector right. And then on this one, I'm gonna go ahead and connect a male one, which I have right here loaded up and ready to go. And just so you can see, it's pretty simple. It's literally just gonna kind of slide over the end and take off the tip there, slide that over the end and crimp it on. So the reason I do it this way, where I crimp a male and a female, one of each, onto the ends here, so you can see, the white wire is a female and the black wire is a male. That way, of course, you shouldn't mess up black to black, white to white, but you physically cannot connect black to white or white to black. You can't cross connect them if you wire them up this way, because there's only one way to plug them in. So that's why I kind of do this, just a little trick. So now I went ahead and connected my white to white. I'm going to connect my black to black, which it's very hard to do one-handed, so I'm not going to do it one-handed. But once I have that on there, we're going to have power. All right, so now with this fan, of course, I still got to put the trim kit on, but I went ahead and tucked my wires up in here. And this fan comes with a remote control. And on the remote control, you have options to do it auto, physically on, off, a percentage. And so as you can see, I have it set to 72 and the room temperature is 73 and it's set on auto. So this thing is running really, really low. But if I were to crank the temperature down a bunch and I were to say I want it to be 64, it's, as you can probably hear, that it just ramped the fan speed up because it's a greater change of temperature that it's asking for. Now, I'm not going to do that right now. I want it to just be, like I said, set to 72. But that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this upgrade. Is it's just such a clean fan, and with the remote, I'm going to go ahead and mount this somewhere on the wall, and we'll get the trim piece put up. But that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and get the trim piece trimmed down, because it does come ready for like a big huge fifth wheel with a big huge sidewall, and I don't need that much. I only need like an inch on it, so I'm going to go ahead and trim this thing down. And now that trim kit is on there, it looks great. All I did was I just took a jigsaw and to shorten it down to about the same height as the old one that came out. Very simple. It's really thin plastic. You just gotta be careful when you're doing it to not crack it or anything like that. But that's it. That is that one. I'm gonna go ahead and get these other bathroom ones done, and we'll show you what it all looks like. There isn't really gonna be much different on these circular ones as there is on the main one that we did up front, okay? All we're doing is, I'm just for ease of access, I'm gonna go remove these screws, get the top out of the way, and I'm gonna start to scrape away this silicone to expose our screws. Which actually I think the screws are on the inside, so I gotta remove the lid anyways. But so we'll get the screws removed, get the silicone broke loose, get this off, get it cleaned up, and put the new one on. Okay, so like I said, it was just a couple of screws on the inside here. I just pulled that up, got those all done. I went ahead and took some acetone. Mineral spirits would be what I'd recommend, just to get it all cleaned up around the edges. Now we're gonna go ahead and get the new one in place, mark it, and do the silicone, or excuse me, the Dicor, just like we did up front. All right, so now with this one in place, I went ahead and marked my thing underneath. I put silicone all the way around. I made sure to put Dicor all the way around. I put Dicor in the old screw holes, and now we're gonna go ahead and basically these little dimples are gonna be where the new mounting screws are gonna go to and get it sucked down. Now I went ahead and lined mine up this way, but everything's a little bit different. However you want. If you want to do it the other way for the handle, that's your call. But that's the nice thing about this, you can do it any way you want. Okay, so I put my screws through. Again, there's already a nice clean silicone line all the way around, Dicor. And the screws suck through some Dicor as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and now cover these screw heads and put a nice bead all the way around the edge of the Dicor to make a real good seal. So on the inside, the wiring is very simple. It's just a positive and a negative that you connect to the negative and the positive. Very, very simple, very basic. The little bus connectors that came with it. Sorry I didn't record it, but it's very difficult to do with two hands. But now I'm just gonna go ahead and tuck these wires up here, get this cleaned up. I've already trimmed my piece that goes in between here, and I'll put on the actual interior trim piece. All right, so now I went ahead and got that trim piece in there. I just shortened it to the height that I needed. Put that in there, and then as well put this up with, again, the 4 screws. And now we have a very nice little fan, and it's a great little upgrade. I went ahead and just mounted for the remote right here to the side, and now I'll leave it on auto. But and now it's just sitting right there. That's really it for this week's video on replacing the fans. Again, very easy project to do. I know a lot of people get scared about roof penetrations and stuff like that, but again, having the right materials for your type of roof is really the biggest key. So, that lap sealant by Dicor is good for a lot of roofs. I'm not gonna say it is or isn't good for your roof. Do your own research, check with your manufacturer. But, just putting that sealant, whatever it is, in where the screw goes through, on top of the screw, and then a big huge seal all the way around it. I mean, that's like triple protection. You're good to go. And again, that's a maintenance thing, right? You need to be getting up there on the roof. Me personally, I do it about once a year. Some people do it more often depending on where you live. But get up there and check the Dicor, check for cracks and stuff like that. If you need to add more, you add more. If it's getting so overdone, you need to remove a bunch and redo it, you do that as well. But again, it's really not that scary of a thing once you've done it a couple times. If you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments below. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe, turn on the notification bell. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching One On RV. Bye.